The year is 2004. You log on to Runescape to train your character with the new powerful dragon weapon you just bought. Now, you have the most powerful gear in the game. This is what your character would look like. RuneScape has been out for over 20 years now, and we've come a long way. So let's take a look back and see how best in slot gear has evolved over the past 20 years. Shout out to Studio 14173 for making this post. It's where I got the idea from, although I am making a few changes. Like for one, I'm not including any gear that has any conditions, like a Slayer helm you have to be on task, or a Dragon Hunter lance you have to hit dragons, as it's not best in slot everywhere. Also, I'm doing melee instead of range and mage because honestly it's just more interesting, although I will do a part 2 with range and mage if you guys like this video. We start our journey where RuneScape started, in RuneScape Classic. I don't have a Classic account, so all of my B-roll shots will be in the main game, but I think damage calculations is the same. I might be wrong on that, so it should be fine. When RuneScape was released, this was best in slot gear. It's really just an adamant two-hander, the rest of it is just Fashionscape. There was no Amulet of Strength yet, and there were no strength potions or prayers, so you were just smacking stuff with an adamant 2H. On release, the highest hit you could hit was a 19. Even with the max 99 strength, you literally couldn't hit a 20. You're probably wondering why an adamant two-hander is better DPS than an adamant scimitar, and that's because back then, weapons didn't have attack speed. An adamant two-hander would hit just as fast as an adamant scimitar. So at the time, whatever just had the best stats was just the best. 5 months after release, they added prayers, meaning you could pray ultimate strength, and they also added an update to magic where you could enchant your jewelry, giving a new best in slot amulet, the Amulet of Strength. By the end of the first year, they released Runite items, and with all of these upgrades, you could now hit above a 30. On February 27th, 2002, there was a huge update including a bunch of quests and dragon weapons, of which the Dragon Battle Axe was the new best weapon in the game. The Dragon Battle Axe would be the best weapon until the end of RuneScape Classic. At the end of Classic, this is what the best gear looked like. If you're wondering why I have a rune chain instead of rune plate body, it's because you couldn't wear gloves with plate bodies. If you look at the old art, they kind of come included with gloves. And these cooking gauntlets actually give me a +2 strength bonus, meaning the highest strength bonus you could possibly get was 97. You couldn't even get into the triple digits in Classic. There were no super strengths, and the Dragon Battle Axe didn't have a special attack yet, so the highest hit in Classic was a 35. Honestly, that's not bad for RuneScape Classic. And that's the end of RuneScape Classic. Before we get into my favorite area of the game, early RS2, a word from today's sponsor. Thank you to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring today's video. Raid Shadow Legends has brought mobile gaming to a whole new level. Raid is the first to bring a true console level experience to your phone. There is so much content in this game. There's over 600 champions, all with unique skills that you can build your team around. And with the team that you build, you can take on raid bosses, dungeon runs, campaign battles, and there's even PvP arena matches. 600 champions is a lot to choose from, so here are some of my favorites. Like Astralon, who is definitely one of the coolest looking characters in the game. Astralon removes all buffs from enemies and places a debuff on them while attacking them all at once. Speaking of attacking all enemies at once, there is Battle Sage, who's one of the only champions with an AoE attack as a default skill. There's also support champions like Manaya, who heals the weakest champion on her default attack, which is great for keeping any team alive. This is the best time to get started in Raid because if you click the link in my description or scan my QR code, you'll get a free starter pack worth almost $30, including the free epic champion Tyrell, 200,000 silver, an energy refill, an XP boost, and 1 ancient shard so you can summon awesome champions as soon as you get in game. All of this treasure will be waiting for you here in your inbox, so what are you waiting for? Click the link in my description or scan the QR code. Thanks again to Raid for sponsoring this video. Early RuneScape 2. Many players think this is the glory days of RuneScape, before all of the crazy stuff we have now. Compared to Classic, it looks a whole lot better. Weapons now have attack speed, so DPS is now a combination of attack speed and how hard it hits, not just how hard it hits. So I won't be looking at max hits anymore as they're not as relevant as they were in Classic. Still relevant, but you know, you have to factor in the attack speed as well. So this is where we're starting. We can now wear a plate body with our gauntlets, which is nice, but we're looking at the Dragon Longsword. As there's no Dragon Scimitar yet, this is the best DPS. I think instead of talking about each upgrade, I'm just going to talk year by year. The release date was in 2004, so at the end of 2004, the best gear looked like this. The only real upgrade to DPS was the Berserker Helm, which gives +3 strength, but there's a couple new pieces of dragon armor with the Legends Quest, the Dragon Square Shield, and the Caliphite Queen drops the Dragon Chain Body. And I'm going to include those just because I think it's a nice representation of the era. Even though they don't really give DPS, it is new armor. Moving on to the next year, 2005. I think 2005 was easily the most changes in a year. At the start of the year, the highest slash bonus was 71, and the highest melee strength was 88. By the end of the year, you could get 95 slash bonus and 110 strength. I think this year has some of the most nostalgic gear. This is the year the whip came out, the fire cape. Even by today's standards, if you saw someone walking around with this type of gear, like, probably make fun of them for not having Barrow's gloves, but their account's looking pretty nice, I'll be honest. It's also interesting that the Dragon Scimitar has never been best in slot. It came out after the whip, even though most of our accounts, you probably use a Dragon Scimitar for so long before you get to the whip. The Dragon Scimitar was never the best weapon in the game. That's kind of crazy. This is also the first year with the Berserker Ring, although you can't imbue it yet as there's no Nightmare Zone or anything like that. That comes way later. It's crazy to think how many updates the game had per year back in the day. Anyways, on to the next year, 2006. 2006 only had 2 major upgrades, but they were some of the biggest ones. Barrow's Gloves and a Rune Defender. In this year alone, slash bonus went up by almost 30 and strength bonus went up 10. This is probably the year that accuracy increased the most with the Defender coming out. Max hits do matter, attack speed does matter, but so does accuracy. It's kind of underrated. The more often you hit, the more damage you do. Who would have thought? 2007. Maybe it's just nostalgia talking, but in my opinion, this is the best looking year. In 2007, we got the Neasnot helm and the torso, which I think both are just iconic looks of the game. The Rune Defender is still better than the Dragonfire Shield, which also came out this year, as it has way more slash bonus and is only lacking 2 strength. The only DPS increase was 4 strength bonus this year, as the Neasnot helm has the same strength and slash bonus as the Berserker helm, but there's just something about the way that this character looks. It's just so cool to me. As Runescape went down the darkest timeline and reset back to 2007, we're going to make a jump all the way to 2013. But before we jump to 2013, please subscribe. Almost 70% of people that watch my videos aren't subscribed, which is just crazy. It's free. It's just 1 click, man. Just click the button and then click the like too. And now we can get back to the video. First year of the old school era was pretty eventful, with the God Wars update bringing in full Bandos and Dragon Boot, as well as Nightmare Zone bringing in a way to imbue your rings, meaning you can get a Berserker Ring Eye for an extra 4 strength, bringing the total strength bonus from 124 to 132. 2014. While 2014 had big updates such as Iron Man mode and the Corporeal Beast, the only upgrade to melee DPS this year was the Abyssal Tentacle, which was the first weapon upgrade in almost 10 years, and even only a slight one at that, only giving 8 slash and 4 strength. 2015. 2015 saw the release of the Dragon Defender and the Cerberus boss, which gave the Primordial Boots one of the coolest looking items in the game. I think this year is the lowest strength increase of any year. Both items only give a single strength bonus, so these are really marginal upgrades. But hey, look at those boots. Goddamn. 2016. Another 2 upgrades to add to the list. The Serp Helm from Zulrah and the Amulet of Torture, a new jewelry that can be crafted with Zenites. Totaling 4 strength bonus and 5 slash bonus added on. As I said, it's getting very marginal now. 2017. 2017 would see the hardest piece of content that this game has ever seen, and it still holds up. It's still the hardest thing, the Inferno. It's such a difficult piece of content that I don't have an Infernal Cape. So for B-roll, I asked my friend Fikey to send me screenshots for the rest of the gear, the rest of the 5 years. So that's what we're working with. Anyways, the Infernal Cape gives plus 3 slash and plus 4 strength over the Fire Cape, and that's all there was this year. 2018. In 2018, the best piece of content in the game was released, the Theater of Blood. With the Theater of Blood came a new best-in-slot melee weapon, the Grazi Rapier, as well as the Avernic Hilt, which attached to the Dragon Defender to make the Avernic Defender. This was the first year that Slash was not the best DPS for melee, as the Grazi Rapier was the best in stab. 2019. In 2019, Jagex released the Fremennik Exiles, as well as an upgrade to the Neasnot helm, and I still haven't done the quest. I'm not gonna lie, that quest, don't really want to do it. The helm just gives the Neasnot helm an extra plus 3 strength up to 6. It's only 1 strength better than the Serp helm, so nothing too crazy. Jagex also released the Alchemical Hydra, as well as the Ferocious Gloves, which are a pretty big upgrade to Barrow's Gloves, giving an extra 4 attack bonus and 2 strength bonus. Here's the Fikey screenshot of what max strength looks like in 2019. And it's all about to change. 2020. In 2020, Jagex released the Nightmare Boss along with the Inquisitor armor set and mace, which for the first time in the game, Crush is the best style. From 2019, we've gone down 2 strength bonus, but the Inquisitor has a set effect that you do 2.5% more damage if you're using Crush with the full effect. So the DPS is actually a lot better here, as well as the accuracy. 2021. I don't know if you guys remember last year, but there were no updates, and it shouldn't come as a surprise that the screenshot is going to be the same one. There's nothing to add this whole year. 2021 might have been a little lackluster, but 1 month into 2022 and Jagex released Nex, along with a Torva armor set, which is now the current best in slot melee DPS. If you're wondering why the Rapier is better than the Blade of Saldor or the Inquisitor's Mace, it's because the Avernic has 30 stab bonus, over 29 slash, and 28 crush. Obviously, if a boss is weak to one of these styles, you'll use that style. But again, I'm taking out all the conditions. This is also why the Scythe isn't in the video yet. Obviously, the Scythe is the best at a lot of places and a lot of things. But the point of the video is to get the best DPS without any conditions. And we've done that. This is the best DPS in the current game. Without any conditions, of course. Runescape really has come a long way. I'm sure I've made a bunch of mistakes during this video, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not like the biggest PVM gear stat nerd. So if I did, let me know in the comments, and I will thank you for watching and have a good day. Peace.